Hello guys and welcome to round 6 of the ILR Season 2 at Monaco. Alongside me today will be RH Racing. He normally would be racing in this race, but he's commentating alongside me. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to watching this. Kind of slightly disappointed I'm not racing, but with lack of preparation and other circumstances, I thought it'd be best for me to sit this one out and enjoy watching everyone else have a go at it. It's probably going to be, I'd say, the most exciting qualifying of the year anyway.
It should be, yeah, indeed, man. We've got a few I think a few people are missing to this race, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, what we both said before the race started was before qualifying started was actually if we could have some changeable conditions because I think that would make it quite spicy. But we'll see as we head into qualifying right now, and it's going to be dry. So no changeable conditions yet, but we could have them for the race, and hopefully that will make things quite interesting as we've got 11 of our drivers readying up to go to circuit for their first initial runs in the session. And currently, championship leader Midzi currently holds the championship by 19 points ahead of Bromson, who isn't in the race currently, so it's a good chance for Midzi to take the championship lead. We have Chris obviously out there as well, and he's going to be looking as well to try and gain some more points and try and get that second place in the championship to challenge Missy further. And we've got Jamie in 4th, we've got Josu in 5th, Virsa Kushmania in 6th, Maestro in 7th, Dasfell in 8th, 9th, Bonkers, and then we've got 10th for Pelzeri, 11th is Burnouts, 12th is Revolutions, 13th is Thomas, 14th is ILR Bibin, and then obviously yourself racings are in 15th with a single point. But you've been actually really good this season. You've just been very unlucky. That's the thing.
This is my first season of league racing, so as far as I've seen it, if I can get my target for the end of the season is getting regular points finishes. I have to admit the level of competition has been a lot higher than I expected. I think I underestimated just how good a lot of the guys are. But I have to admit, it has been enjoyable. There's been a steep learning curve, but it's been great to race with these guys. I've made a few silly mistakes in a couple of races. There's been places I can improve, but I think I'm getting improvement. If I can get at least one podium by the end of the season, I'll consider that a good year.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then we got Joker in 16th, Adam Lee in 17th, Emerald in 18th, and Flying Rosie in 19th. So that's our championship order so far. And obviously Ferrari looking very good for the Constructors' Championship as well. Competition with McLaren as well, because McLaren are very good up there and actually are up there as well in this championship for Constructors' Championship. But anyway, we've got Joker out there starting his first lap in qualifying, the runner driver, who had been doing all right this season so far. He's had a bit of misfortunes here and there. It's been quick, but hasn't quite got the results that he'd like. And I think he actually was doing very well last time out in Spain until an issue got in his way. But he's going for the first sector now. It's really fast. It's so close. Obviously, Monaco. It's one of those circuits where the walls are so tight, and if you're making a single mistake, you're going to be thumping yourself into the wall, and that's why qualifying is vital around here, because track position. Strategy today, I mean, we discussed before qualifying started, didn't we? And we kind of looked at maybe it's probably going to be a one-stop more than likely, isn't it?
The only way I can see strategy changing is that people are dictated to by damage on their car, because Monaco's not really a place that you can really take a risk of strategy. Interestingly, I think the big problem with qualifying here is going to be traffic, especially with Monaco. Especially in this final sector, if you catch traffic, there's really nowhere for them to get out of the way. And if they're preparing for their own hot lap, they're not going to be minded to completely abandon it. So you could see a bit of controversy today with who gets pole.
Exactly, man. And we've got TR Dutchman actually in P1 currently. They have 109.569 in the benchmark, and we've got Josu in second place. Joker did set a lap there, but he didn't actually. I think he got invalidated, so that's why he actually didn't get through and put a lap on the board. Jamie currently is out there in 4th. He's on a lap with the Haas, and he's skimming the barriers a little bit here. So we'll see if he's doing all right here. I think he's. I think he actually backed off in this lap, so he's into the pit lane. So a lot of them are just doing like initial runs here. Revolutions is out there as well. Midzi is he on a lap? He is on a lap, so we'll see what he's going to do. He's on the ultra soft, and he's around the final corner. Actually, it's going to be an out lap. I think it's a 3-minute odd lap, unless my timing's messed up, which it probably is. Cross the line, and it's going to be he's going on for another lap. So currently the first top two on 1 minute 9.9, 1 minute 9.569, and obviously we've got Josu in second place on 1 minute 10.354. But just a lot of people are kind of backing off and going back into the pit lane.
Yeah, there's
the run,
a few
so.
sort of split. I think 3 or 4 drivers decided either they've just decided to back out of it, or they've maybe looked at the tyres. I think everyone's came out in the hypersoft so far, so I think it's no surprise. Can't see anyone trying to qualify on ultrasoft. So don't. Well, someone Pelzeria seems to touch the barrier there somewhere, possibly on the way into the pits. But that's only if you make one mistake, especially if someone crashes towards the end of qualifying. Especially in the final sector, it could cause the track to be completely blocked, and it can really mix qualifying up. I know personally, if you're on a good lap and then something, circumstances out of your own hands takes it away from you, it can be frustrating. But you always roll, especially in Monaco, you do roll the dice with these things.
Exactly, man, and it's so tough in qualifying because it's got to be the perfect lap, and track position is so vital. As Mincy's on P3 and like 111.339, and I do think he slowed down in that last sector because he doesn't want to actually be on those hypersoft tyres. He wants to be on these ultrasofts, I think. So he normally goes for the harder of the soft compounds we have. So he normally does that in the races. It's been
there's a couple of people going out on ultrasofts. Just noticed.
Yeah, I got you. And Dasfell as well, actually in P4, so he was 3 tenths off his own teammate. So again, both McLarens. And then Dasfell is on another lap here. Let's see if he actually improves. He comes across the line. He's going to be doing a 1 minute, 11.6. So he improved a little bit, but not by a lot. So I think there's a lot more time in that for both McLaren drivers. But everyone's going to kind of done their initial runs, and everyone's kind of in the pits. We've got Joker on an outlap, and we've got Dutchman as well on an outlap, who's currently in provisional pole. So as it stands, the surprise was if someone we didn't actually realise would actually be in this position. This guy's actually on top. I think he's actually replacing Volga. Yeah, FTR Volga, isn't it? Yes.
I think so. Yes, he's left the league now.
That's right.
Which was an interesting one. I didn't really see much of him, but I think we're expecting a few more people to hopefully join it in progress in qualifying. I hope so, because it'll be interesting to see. But I think there will be a good battle for pole. From what I've seen in time trial times people have been posting, there's not a lot of difference in it. And like you said, one mistake could mess your entire session up. All it takes is miss one braking point, one wheel lock up, one bit of traffic, and your chance of pole's gone.
Exactly. I think these guys are really enjoying Monaco though. It's a fast track, and in these cars, it's an absolute beast to drive. I've driven it myself, and I find it scary, but it's so fun at the same time because it's so quick at the speed you're travelling at, and there's so much downforce in these cars that these guys are going to be absolutely enjoying it.
Yeah.
And enjoying the time down there.
Especially when you start to feel into the rhythm and stuff, as well, the demands it puts on you, there's that level of satisfaction when you just nail the lap when you get every corner right, because and then you just want to keep going a bit better. Singapore's the same in terms of it's very long, it's very demanding. There's no room for error, and it really does. You can't take liberties on a track like Monaco, otherwise your race is going to be cut very short.
Exactly. Oh, as Dutchman actually just hit the exit of the last chicane there, so he's going to hit the wall, but I think he's okay. Comes around the last corner. Let's see if he improves in the forcing. And he comes across the line now. Let's see if it's going to be a 1 minute 9.305, and I do think there's more time in that as well. So he's currently again extending his gap as Joker now goes into P2 on a 1 minute 9.958. So Dutchman looking fantastic for pole position currently with 9 minutes to go in the session. And that was a cracking into the lap. A slight little error in the last sector, but it looked pretty good. Jamie currently out there on a 10.329 as he loses the rear end for running on board with him as he's hit the wall again. So these guys are really testing their limits, and I think he's got damage to his front wing.
Oh, he's out.
He's out, yeah. I just saw that, man. Look at
that. That reminds me a bit of, was it Max Verstappen's accident in practice? Was it at the start in this year where he got unnerved, I think, by signs on the racing line? And once you're offline in those that series of corners, it's very difficult to recover it.
Exactly, man.
So that's disappointing, especially someone who qualified, especially someone who's fourth on the timing sheets. I think Jimmy will be really disappointed at that.
He will be, man. Yeah, exactly. I think again, all these guys are trying to find more lap time. I mean, we've got Josu now in second place. He did a pretty good lap in the Red Bull. The last corner, from what I saw, he was a bit oversteery at the last corner, so didn't get the exit he would like to have had. But a lot of people, again, kind of redoing and just ready to go for their final run. So mid-seat now. We're going to run on board with the championship leader currently as he begins to start his lap. He just done his initial one, so let's go into turn 1 with him. Down to third gear, hits the inside nicely. A little bit of oversteer on the exit. Going to build uphill now. It goes downhill as now Pelzeri goes top on 9.099, so very good lap from him. He's been fantastic in qualifying all season and so far, so he's doing a fantastic job. So Missy just finished his first sector at 18.8 in the first sector. He now goes through the lowest hairpin, the slowest corner on this track in first gear, turns it in nicely, a little bit wide for my liking, I'd say, and again wide again on the second part, and now he's a good exit before the tunnel. He's got an exit, it's pretty good. Looks a bit understeery at McLaren. He's not looking very happy so far.
I think that some of the guys were talking. Yeah, some of the guys were talking. They wanted the car to be a bit understeery. Personally, I don't. I kind of like it to go exactly where I point the wheel. But I guess again that everyone has different driving styles, and certainly Lindsay's lap here, he looks really on it coming into this final few bits.
He's locked up a lot though.
Oh,
yeah.
I cursed him.
And the last corner, let's see what's going to be. It's going to be a one. He's backed
off.
No,
he's backed off. I think he was going to go faster. Interestingly, if he was going to go faster on that and had to back off so much, I think he has it in him to get pole.
I do think so.
Having flat spotted those tyres.
Again, that's the Hypersoft. So I reckon he's backed off again deliberately to go on a run on his Ultrasoft instead. His Ultrasoft instead, because there's no way a driver has backed off 2 seconds, and this lap he's onto now is not quick. So he's definitely gonna go for the last 5 minutes. He's almost been warming himself up, and the risk he's gonna have though is obviously traffic towards the end of the session, because people are going to be all doing their final runs at the same time. However, what he will have in his he won't be too unlucky. I think there's less people in this qualifying session as we'd like to have, so he might be okay. But
what I was kind of looking forward to was a full lobby of 20 people all battling it, because you think about Q3 with 10 drivers is a bit chaotic. No, double the amount of drivers, and Monaco's a very small place.
Exactly. But Dragon Pro 200 now on lap in the 14. Let's see what he can do. Comes across the line to do a 1 minute 9.3. That puts it in P3 currently. So the Force India's currently P2 and P3 on the grid so far. So looking good for Force India around here, I tell you what. And that team doing a superb job as it stands. Everyone seems to have been in the pit lane, and they're probably looking to do. We've actually got TR Dutchman out there. Let's see if he improves. Comes across the line. He's actually going to start a lap. So let's see if we can go on board with him. Down into turn 1. Third gear. Hits it nicely. Doesn't get the oversteer. I think he scripts the wall slightly, but doesn't fit his exit too badly. Goes uphill, then downhill, and then into this fast left-right section in the 4th gear. And tucks it down right, and then gets a good exit. And now into the slow part of the circuit, down into 1st gear. For the second, and now the lowest hairpin, slowest corner on the circuit once again. In 1st gear, keeps it nicely on the inside, doesn't go too wide, and he's a good line through here. He runs on the inside.
Interesting line there, to say the least.
It is interesting, and I wonder that's a bad.
No, he's backed. He's backed off already. I think he's realised there. I think he turned too early coming out of the hairpin. He seemed to be on the wrong side of the track. You know, normally you want to sort of zigzag across, but someone's ended up on the barriers down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Jokers, I think, has went for a spin going into the chicane, into the swimming pool section.
Has he lost part of his front wing? I can see. No, I think his wing looks okay actually. You know.
It's in the bit weird. I think I wonder, is it when you come in to do the left into the swimming pool? Occasionally, if your left rear tags it, you can get spun around. I wonder, was that what happened to him?
Yeah, I think so. Because it looked like he didn't have any damage on his front wing, so that's why I assume it's happened there.
It'd be very weird, especially for a car to be sideways, especially if you lock up going into the swimming pool. Looks like he did have a spin there. I've certainly done it a few times. It's a very easy mistake to make. Your front wheel goes past it, then you just get spun around it. You feel so silly for doing it, but it's so easy to do.
Oh, Dazfel once again. He slows it right down. in the last part of the lap. Does 10.2 on the ultra soft. So he's again slowed it all the way down again, and he's going to go for another run on that ultra soft, or he's going to come back into the pit lane and fit a hyper soft and go for pole position. So weird strategy from the McLaren boys, and particularly Dazka, because I'm a bit confused. He was looking good for again improving his lap time he had already done on those hyper softs previously. So strange idea here from McLaren, but I reckon maybe he's just going to pop it on the hypersoft towards the end of the session. So,
he certainly has enough. I think he has enough time to get around for another lap anyway. I think. No, I would say it's will be everyone getting ready for their final runs. I think the big thing is now, I think, especially he can't really do 2 runs back to back, especially with the ERS, because I don't think on maximum deployment, I don't think you can get enough in it for 2 laps concurrently.
Yeah,
so I find you start.
I don't think so.
Obviously, pardon me. Once the ERS starts to go, so you lose the 160 horsepower, and as you've seen in the Monaco Grand Prix, losing any percentage of power from the engine, it really does hamper your progress.
Exactly, yeah. And Midseed now is coming towards the end of his lap, so let's see what he can do on those ultra softs. He comes across the line. And it should be a 1 minute 10.0, so it's only P8 on the grid on those ultra softs, and as he completely kind of bottled this, he's going for another run. He's going pretty fast.
Yeah, but he has to do it on these tyres because he doesn't have enough time to get back in. What's interesting is a lot of people on the right laps, they're all quite condensed. Like a bit of traffic starting to build up, and everyone's trying to. Obviously, you're trying to prepare your tyres, keep them in temperature, but you're also trying to find enough of a gap. This is, I think, where the pressure is now. I think that pole time is beatable, but you'll need to be on it. Oh, and
really good.
Interestingly, Pelzer's just pitted. I think he's just given up on this session. I think he's decided that's his time.
Let's see what his middle sector is. He is down currently at 10th, so that last sector, he thinks there's more in it. He's absolutely flying it through. He hits the wall on the right-hand side, now into the penultimate corner, down to first gear. Last corner now, needs a good exit, and that's better than last time. So let's see what it's going to be for the McLaren driver across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 10.1, and it's not an improvement. So, yeah, I think he's frustrated with that. He's frustrated.
I think so too.
Annoyed.
I think I've seen as well Revolution retired from the session. I don't know whether it's because he crashed or whether he just decided that was what he was going to get from the session.
Didn't see. Yeah, I reckon he retired. I think he retired from the session. Came from my screen as retired, so I think.
Interesting. Dutchman and Dragon are both quite close to each other, so if Dragon makes any sort of mistake, he's going to hold up his teammate.
Yeah, exactly, because they're pretty close in proximity, aren't they, on the circuit? So we'll keep on board with Dragon Pro, who is the leading Force India on the track currently. Let's see what they do. So an 18.3 in the first sector for Dragon Pro. What about Dutchman? It's going to be an 18 point. That's okay. He didn't really tell me. It was like 18.7, but it was on there for ages. So I think that was like his previous one. So Dragon Pro. Let's keep with the Force India driver. Let's see what we can do. As Joker now goes top out of nowhere. 9.001. How close do you want to get to the 8s, boys? So Dragon Pro.
I think we could still. I think we could still 1 minute 8.
You could see it. So Dragon Pro now into the last part of the circuit.
He took a bit too much on that corner.
He did, yeah. He hit that wall, and he's got flying. Wasn't he?
Traffic. Why
distraction.
Got out of the way?
And across the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 8.9 provisional pole position. And he doesn't. So there we go. Dragon Pro took pole position.
Joker, I think, is still on another lap, so he might just steal this away again at the very end.
He is. He's 2 tenths up.
Did he do that? Oh no! Was he taking it? Could he steal it back here?
Last corner, he's a good exit, and he's got a decent one. So here it comes across the line for the Renault driver across the line. It's not going to be pole position today.
That was a great finish too, anyway.
Yeah, dramatic scenes here in Monaco. But there we go. we'll run through the grid order for the Monaco Grand Prix here. And that was a great qualifying session between particularly the top 3 or 4 actually. Those guys went absolutely at it. So there we go. Dragon Pro took pole position in the dying moments of the session. He's on pole with an 8.9 ahead of Joker in P2 in the Renault. P3 for AR Pelzeri, who thought he had it for quite some time, but got snatched away at the end. TH Dutchman in 4th, Dasfell in 5th, Joshua Alzagari in 6th, Chris Jones in 7th, Mizzi in 8th, he'd be disappointed with that, the championship leader, but he's got his championship rival ahead of him, and Jamie in 9th, Flying Wasservi in 10th, and Ellie Revolutions in 11th. So that's your grid order as you're prepared to go in for the race here. And again, it's going to be an interesting race, particularly for the two who are battling for the championship, Chris and Midsi, who are down the order in positions where they don't want to be, really. Mid-pack at Monaco probably isn't the best place to start. You'd probably want to be starting sort of really in pole position. But
yeah, I think especially with turn 1, I think a lot of it does depend on the start and what happens in turn 1. What it did was the top 4 were separated by less than 2/10, so they seem to be very similar on pace. A couple of people on the ultra softs who may be trying a slightly different strategy. But like you said, especially the championship leaders being stuck in the middle of the pack's dangerous because you've got cars in front of you, you've got cars beside you, you've got cars behind you. You know, you could get caught up in other people's accidents. It is a lottery sometimes. I think starting at the back of the pack can sometimes be better than starting in the middle, depending on what race it is. But I think these guys are experienced enough. They'll know what they'll need to do.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So here we go. We're readying up for the race now. A few guys ready to actually get ready, and here we go, guys, for 5 red lights here for the Monaco Grand Prix. And we are lights out and away we go here.
Oh, great start for Pelzeri.
Gets a fantastic start into turn 1. Pelzeri into P2, and we've got Dutchman into P3. And in the background, let's see what's going on in the background. Pelzeri is essentially taking away as well. Dasfell in P4. We've got Midsi actually now in 7th place behind Chris. And what a good start. Very clean from everybody else. I don't think there's been any instances. We've got the Williams and the Renault battling away in the background.
Joker's had a terrible start all the way down the 8th. He seemed to spin up the rears coming out of turn 1 and then sort of tried to struggle to recover after that. Here's the
look at the Haas in the background.
Oh
yeah. No, and he's having another one as well, isn't he? Yes, he has got another one.
Has he had damage? Oh, he's not. Has he had damage? He seems very, very slow.
He does indeed. Yeah, he's. I think
he's got
damage.
Has he got a puncher?
He might.
I think
he might because that car's unusually slow.
Yeah, going through the tunnel. I think he's got a rear puncher somewhere. I think it's his left rear's punctured. He must have had contact then with someone. That's it.
Terrible, man.
Oh, that's
a complete lap 1 now. Dragon Pro is now in the lead by a second ahead of AR Pelzeri. TH Dutchman following behind. Dasfell in P4 ahead of Josu, who's absolutely all over his tail now. As we go on board with this battle as Renault looks to the inside but can't make it stick, so he has to stay behind the McLaren driver. We've got Chris Jones in 6th place. And let's bring up the telemetry and let's bring up the data. So we can see that the Ultrasoft runners, Dasfell actually is leading the Ultrasoft runners currently in P4, so he's looking fantastically strong at this stage as Chris gets very close to Josu at this point in the race. Midsi is a little bit behind Chris, so he's not favourable at this point, so there's a little bit of ground in front of him at the moment. Flying Wasservi is quite a far way back from that bunch, and we've got Ellie Revolutions as well far back from Wasservi, and Jamie far down the order, who had a really good time out in Spain, and obviously had that podium in Spain and obviously podium in China. But that is really it. The top 7 are probably the only guys that are in the same sort of proximity as it stands. Other than that, it's pretty spread out.
Interesting thing she watches, Revolution and Joker are both now on the super soft tires, so I expect them to go to the end. So if they're both running in clear air now, if they can catch up to the part of the pack, and with them not having another pit stop to make, they can still be in for a chance of good points. I think Revolution started on the super soft tire. I think he started outside the top 10, so he got a free choice.
Exactly, yeah. But you can see, very tight. The top 3 currently, 1.1 seconds separating Pelzeri and Dragon Pro at the moment, so pretty close. And Force India looking pretty neat for some good points here at first and third place. But looking behind the field, we've got Dazfel, Josu, and Chris, and Midzi in very tight proximity. So this is the battle that I want to be watching at this point in the race, because they're very close together. However, overtaking around here is impossible. Midzi's kind of finally got into the groove here in the race. Didn't get the qualifying he wanted, and neither did Chris, but they've finally kind of got into their groove as things are starting to close up from 4th place all the way down to the 7th place in the grid. Midzi's made a massive mistake. He's okay though. I think he's just okay.
Josu done the same. He just glanced the barrier coming into that swimming pool section.
And Pelzeri's into the pits as well. So
he's had enough of those hypersofts. Then must only be lasting a few laps. He's under the super soft as well, so it looks like there could be a variance of strategy. Then he's switching a front wing as well. Actually, must have took a bit of damage. Or no, is he serving a penalty?
Oh, Josu's lost the rear end. He's getting all the way, and Chris is okay. Chris is alright. And so I think Mizzy's got away as well, but Josu's lost the rear end. And he's on that hyper soft. This is something that you were just talking about just then. Is that hyper soft fading quick? Because Dutchman is right behind Dragon as well. So these guys are struggling on their hyper soft as well. Dragon Pro is losing the rear end. We're on a run on board with Dutchman, who is behind the Dragon Pro. At this point, these two don't want to at this point in the race. He's going to make the move, is he?
Yes, he got it. Oh, but his team, no.
It's clumsy. They need to work together at this point and let him go. Yeah, it's clumsy because the thing is, the guys who pitted...
big slide from Dragon there.
They're really struggling, aren't they? Oh my god, they're really...
The hypersofts are gone already, I think. Anyone in the hypersofts needs to pit now or in the next lap.
Exactly.
Because they're going to lose. If you look,
Midzi
is on the ultras, is now already all over, is already catching like the other guys on the hypersofts.
Exactly. And we said this in the race, didn't we? Like, we thought, oh, those guys who qualified on ultrasofts, they're down the order. But actually, that's turned out to be the clever option, because those guys on the hypersoft have just lost a chunk of time because their tyres wearing out. And now the guys who are on the ultrasoft style, they're racing the ultrasoft, are now currently in P2, P3, and P4. So they're looking pretty good. Now, I don't know if you can do 34 laps on one set of super soft towards the end. I'm assuming you potentially could, but it's not the most attacking race, is it? No. And you probably have to do some tyre saving as well.
I would say that the most optimal strategy would be try and go as long as you can on the ultrasofts and then switch to the supers, because then they'll definitely get you to the end of the race. If you can do at least a third of the laps, I think, on the ultrasofts, the supers will get you to the end fine. I think one stopping with hypersofts and ultrasofts things out of the question. The hypersofts only lasted, was it 4 laps there? Alright, yes, with more fuel on board, but at the end of the race still, I can't see the hypersofts lasting past 7 or 8 laps possibly.
That's interesting, man, because TR Dutchman stayed out there for another lap on those hypersoft tyres. So he looks, to be honest, in decent shape on those tyres. So
the only thing I can think of is, did he do 1 lap on qualifying on those tyres and the other guys have done 2 laps on their sets that they started on? Because doing 2 runs at quali speed does take a lot out of the tyres.
Yeah. Around here, they're using a lot of first gear, aren't they? As Pelzeri's not got a facing time penalty, and Dutchman is losing a little bit of time to Dazfel, but not a lot. And I think he's going to stay out there for another lap after this. He isn't losing too much ground, and the car looks to be in decent shape. He isn't oversteering everywhere. He isn't quite having lots of traction problems, so he's actually okay. Yeah. So Dutchman, at this point in the race,
the Joker's crashed out of the race. Yeah, but if you look at it, especially with his teammates' last lap on his hypersofts, he was all, oh wait, I think the tyres have went. I think they've gone now. That was exactly what happened to his teammate. Through that section, I think the tyres just let go. Interesting, a lot of guys in their preparations for this were talking about overheating of the tyres, especially in this game. If you overheat the tyres, you've lost them effectively, and is it a case of a few people have just spun up the rears? And especially going through those high-speed corners where they put a lot of heat through them, they give up and they can't take it anymore.
Let's see where TR Dutchman rejoins. Currently in P4, he needs to beat out his teammate. He's not going to beat out his teammate. His teammate actually very close, actually. Yeah, I saw that.
Teammates jumped him by quite a bit, and Dutchman just got a 5-second stop-go penalty for corner. I think he crossed I think he crossed the pit
line.
exit line, and I think then that counts it as a. Well, this is always the tricky bit. The outlap when the tires are still a bit cool, you do tend to struggle to get them up to temperature for a lap or so.
Exactly. And the guys, this is something that we've seen all season long, haven't we? Where basically people have pitted a lap later. Yeah, it helps them initially, but they need to get those tyres in the right window straight away because they'll be vulnerable to people who have made the lap early pit stop and then from the undercut. So it's really imperative that they get those tyres warmed up, and it's exactly the same if you're trying to do the undercut as well. You want to get those tyres warmed up as quick as possible because you want to be able to utilise those fresh tyres and those younger tyres as quick as you can. And if they're cold, you can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I found when we done China, when it was wet, and then obviously went to a dry race. I remember I pitted earlier than most people to switch to dries, but because they were cold, but if I should have waited a lot later because I forgot to take into account that you needed to heat them up, and it just on the sort of still the slippery surface, I couldn't heat them up at all. You know, on the similar lap times I was doing to the intermediates, so I just about managed to get it going. But it is very much on a knife edge, and especially if you're racing for position, you maybe don't have, you're trying to battle someone. You know, you need the temperature, you need the tires there straight away, and sometimes that they just don't happen. It's very easy then to push them too hard, and that's where mistakes occur.
Exactly, yeah. One guy who's been setting in some fantastic lap times is Dasfell. He's pulled away from Chris by quite a bit. 7.2 seconds gap between himself and Chris, and it was tighter than that. So maybe, I don't know if Chris, we saw Jossu have a bit of a half spin. I don't know if Chris got any damage or picked up any damage from that. It may potentially minor damage because obviously that could cause a bit of understeer for him and it's turning him out to be as good. But to lose quite a lot of lap time like he has, it's surprising. And mid-sea as well, he's lost about 5.2 seconds to Chris, and he was right behind Chris. So I do think these guys are potentially looking longer into the race, as Dragon is catching mid-sea at this point as well.
I think these three certainly, I think they could be in the battle for the podium places. Interestingly, with Dragon being on the super softs, the interesting thing will be, can he go to the end on these? But also, what's not out of the question is that you could possibly throw a virtual safety car in. You know, and if at the right moment, at the right time, could that let someone, you know, change tyres effectively with a cheap pit stop, not lose as much time, and then, you know, be attacked from there? Interestingly, the Dragon has closed on Midzi massively.
He has, yeah. Those fresher super softs are doing him very well at this point. As now it's 9.7 seconds the gap between Chris and Dasfell. So Dasfell is on another level around here at Monaco. But as we said, we don't know how it's all going to play out as AWR Pelzeri actually does the first lap of the race. 12.3 I think that was. But yeah, Dragon Pro is weaving around a little bit behind Chris. So he's almost trying to... Chris behind Midzi. So
I think he'll be hoping Midzi pits here.
Yeah.
But if not, I would say... Ooh! I think Midzi's tyres have gone.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think he did quite a lot of laps on those ultra softs, didn't he? He did like 2 flying laps because he had to do this to 2 laps. As now Dutchman now gets a penalty for corner cutting, I assume. But Midzi has to try and I think really, guys, look at that. Very close. He's hit the wall.
He's miscalculated. Oh, his teammate's gone through. Has his teammate
I think he's got damage, man.
Yes.
I think he's got damage.
I think yes. He's locking up an awful lot. That does indicate.
Oh, Midzi's gone deep as well.
Oh, and the other. Midzi's getting ganged up on by the Force Indies here.
Yeah, absolutely, and he has to stay in front because it's almost like the right kind of situation at USA, where he had to keep
he needs to hold. He needs to hold them up. But he'll be hoping the Force Indies start squabbling amongst each other here.
Yeah, Midzi, he's going to try he's struggling on those tyres. He needs to come in. He needs to get off those tyres.
He has to pit this lap, I think.
Oh, look how close he is! Oh. Dutchman is right over his rear end. Midzi, I think Dutchman's staying right behind him. He ain't risking it.
Midzi's staying on lap. The frustrations will be starting to build up for Dutchman because he knows he should be past him by now. And then
he's
the frustration comes in. He's going to be... Oh!
That was a move and a half. I'm surprised. Oh my god, here we go, run! Can he keep on the
this
inside? He needs to be on.
Oh,
He's understood into him. Yeah, he's okay.
I think
He's
they
okay, he's
decided to
okay.
back out of it. I think and this has allowed Jossie to close up massively. He's now in on this. I think though Minzy's tires. I think now he does have to pit because he needs to think the long game now. He will be hoping towards the end of his he'll have much fresher tires in the Force Indies. But definitely
Exactly,
there is.
Oh, he's lost the rear.
No,
Needs to get out of the way.
tapped the back of him.
He's gone too long. He should have pitted the lap before. If we've been saying he should have pitted the lap before. He had track position on the Force Indias. That meant if the Force Indias are doing a different strategy, as now just gets a penalty. He's got problems with his tyres. Daz fell, and Chris doing superb on their tyres.
He's really struggled. He's really struggled in the swimming pool section. He's had to back off massively.
Yeah, he's gonna have to box that, and he might actually be. If he's
this is going to cost him.
If
you look at how much further the Force Indias are up the road already.
He's taking another lap. He's doing another lap.
I only think
he's a madman.
He's that, or he knows something we don't. You know, I remember I was watching the American Grand Prix, and I thought Ferrari had messed up the strategy by bringing Raikkonen in. How wrong I was then. Maybe Midzi knows that the super softs, if you pit now, won't go to the end.
Potentially, yeah. So maybe he's doing the one
it's a
stop.
big gamble because he's losing 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap to those in front of him right now on the super softs. It's a big gamble to take.
Yeah, exactly. However, a battle that's looking very close at the moment is Josu and Dragon. I do think Dragon's got some sort of end plate damage from the incident he had with Midzi. When he actually lost a bit of it looked like he lost a bit of end plate. So we'll stay with these two.
Josu has closed up a lot.
He has, and he's right over the back of that Force India, and he's hounding him very hard. So we're going into the final part of the circuit.
Looking at the side-by-side shots of Dutchman and Dragon, there's something missing off Dragon's end plate on the left-hand side if you flick between the two quickly. But so even if it's affecting him a small bit around a circuit like Monaco, where you really need to find the balance, and as you've seen there, if the balance isn't there, the car becomes a real dog to control.
Yeah, Josu was absolutely phenomenal in that turn one, and in comparison, Dragon was understeering and losing so much time. As again, he's really struggling, and it is going to be really frustrating for Josu, who just wants to get past Dragon because Dragon's 5 seconds behind.
Dragon seems to be locking up a lot as well. I don't know whether that'll be affecting his tyres.
Exactly, and another battle as well is Dutchman and Chris.
Oh, and
Dutchman's right
Dragon
behind
just clipped
Chris.
The barrier coming out of that little right-hander, but I think
as well.
He's let him through actually, Dragon.
That's a shame. But now we've got Dutchman all at the back of Chris. 5 tenths between them, and Chris again.
Hasn't pitted yet.
You know, they haven't pitted. So again, this is going to be an idea of, well, Chris is probably thinking he's got to do the 2-stop behind him, and is he letting him go here? I think he might be, you know, and I think he just let him have it. I think he's not even risked it.
Yeah.
Dutchman gets a pretty bad turn 1 exit though as a result. But I don't think he's going to fight this too hard.
Chris is playing the long game here. That was definitely the way he moved over there. That was definitely a go through out. He's probably thinking, I'll not lose too much time fighting him, and I'll gain it back at the end. So he maybe seen how much Midzi lost fighting with the 2 Force Indias. Interesting, Midzi is now in, and he's now on the super soft tyres.
I mean, he's now down in, 10th place? I mean, was that really worth it? He's now completely out of track position. He can overtake on the track.
He has to hope that he has an inspired strategy here, and that his tyres will get to the end. He needs to hope that... What is very noticeable is that the Ultras and the Hypers have fall off a cliff. Like, the Hypersofts went instantly, as did the Ultras. There seems to be a very small window. It'll be interesting to see how long the Super Softs will go.
Exactly. I mean, Daz fell again 20 seconds ahead of Dutchman. I mean, I don't know how long the pit stop is around here. I mean, the pit stop is quite actual pit stop itself is quite short.
22 or 23, I think.
So he'll be behind. So that means that if Dutchman is going for 2 stops, this puts Dazfeld right in the net lead because he can go on to do a 1-stop pretty easily and pop on those super soft tyres and go to the end, surely, from lap 15. Say he pitted this lap, you have to do 24 laps on the super soft. I think that's possible.
I think that
it's
is.
pretty
He's
possible.
done 14 laps quite tidily on the ultra soft. You know, he seems to have done his homework here. Certainly, that's the thing. I can't see Dutchman doing. He's done 8 laps now, so he has to still do another 25. Oh, and Jossie having another go at Chris here.
Yeah, exactly. Just watching this. Chris lost the rear. He's got on the inside. What a move! What a move on
brilliant
Chris there.
move. And there's Daz fell into the pits now. See what tires will he go for?
Oh, as Chris hit the inside there, and he's the swimming pool section. He's actually got. I think he might have lost a little bit of end plate potentially. So definitely looking to pit. But Dazfeld, as you said, has come into the pit lane. So let's ride on board and let's see where he comes out in terms of Dutchman. You know what? He might be ahead. He heads into turn 1 in front. Is he going to be able to
he's
exit?
done it. He's
It's so tight. He's done it. I thought
he's done it. The key is as well, he's got clear air to run it. Though what he needs to be careful of is his tires aren't up to temperature yet, so Dutchman needs to pounce now.
Exactly, and Dutchman though, he's been on 9 laps on those super softs, so in that sense, it kind of neutralises itself a bit. And Dazfeld seemingly has pulled away a tiny little bit since coming up the pit lane, so he looks to be much more comfortable on those fresh super softs that are colder than the more warm Dutchman's super soft. So Dazfeld has pulled off a master strike here, and I'm pretty sure he can go to 20 laps to the end.
And Chris has went the lap too long as well because Dragon's now all over him.
Here he goes. He's going to go to the inside. Is Dragon, and is that done?
No. Personally, I think he should have to give that back because I would argue that he didn't stay on the track to complete the manoeuvre, but I suppose it depends. I think Chris will go for the pit. I didn't see a penalty, but it was. Well, he's letting through now. I think it's academics. I think Chris will have to pit this lap anyway because he'll see Dazfeld pit, and yeah.
He's understeering a lot, so I do think he's got some sort of end plate damage. And yeah, he has. So he's changing the front wing. I thought he picked up a little bit from the swimming pool section earlier. And he's put them on those super softs. Let's see where he comes out. And Mizzy is...
Pelzeri's too far back. Well, no, Pelzeri. I think he'll come out behind Pelzeri.
He will.
Quite easily behind him. Just next up the road. Jamie will be passing as well. No, Rossi's in the pits. Mitzi actually here. Mitzi's coming down. No.
He fell back. Currently, the guys who started in P7 and P8 are currently P7 and P8 as it stands because of their strategy. So we'll see if that pays off. But realistically, you look at, in a close comparison, you look at Dazfeld, he's on the same strategy and he's leading this race. These two,
it's hard to see. I have to say, Dazfeld's look very good. I think as well, especially Monaco, it's a case of if you're feeling the track and you feel comfortable, you know, you feel confident and pushing. I think that's what he's done. I think he's just in the groove now. And he was just pounding out lap after lap after lap on the same sort of pace. Judged the pit stops well, and already he's pulled out almost 3 seconds on Dutchman, who was only a few tenths behind him after the pit stop. So it sort of shows the pace and the confidence he has in the car.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this has been a masterstroke, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't win this race, but it's still a long way to go. We're not even halfway through yet, so it's still a bit of time, but I think right now, firm favourite for this race win is Dazfeld. We can keep it all together. Dutchman, I think he might have to pit again, but he might
I would say so. I think 31 laps, I think, is quite a lot to ask, I think.
It's all pretty spaced out. Jamie, though, is quite close behind Chris at this point.
Chris is in a good position. If he can do a one-stop and run to the end, he's in a good position for good points, which I imagine that will be his priority, is not necessarily a victory, but just making sure he keeps bringing in the good points. Interestingly, Josu's starting to struggle a bit on his super softs. He's been on them 13 laps. He might have just overheated them. Dustman's just got another 3 seconds. There's a lot of time penalties to be factored in as well, actually, I have noticed from Monaco. So there could be that to consider.
I think that's generally them making mistakes, though, isn't it? Like they're making the
Yeah.
mistakes and they're hopping over the curb, not they're not doing it
Especially
deliberately,
like
just
turn
generally
one, where
making
if you
mistakes.
just misjudge, yeah. Turn one and the chicane out of the tunnel, I think it's the only two bits where I think you can go off the track without hitting the barrier. So
Exactly. With Josu, we might see him pit in for maybe a new fresh set of super softs anytime soon. I probably think he'll have to take those longer though, by a couple of laps.
I can't say that
So.
Revolution is the longest runner on the super soft. He's done 17 laps on them, as is Jamie's, who's done 17 on the ultra softs. I'm not sure what strategy he's going for, because I imagine once
It's
he
going
pits,
really long.
yeah. I imagine once he pits, he'll be dead. Unless he's trying something really ambitious, is he going to try run long enough to put hyper softs on? But I suppose maybe the way he looks at it, he's guaranteed a point as it stands. Why not try something a bit out there? And if it comes off, maybe get you an extra place, an extra couple of points.
Yeah, precisely, man. I mean, the opportunity's there because there's 10 runners in this race, and there's plenty of points potentially that you can grab if things go right in your favour. So,
Yeah.
and there's still
Especially
chances that people can crash out.
Especially if you're on the last few laps and you're on a tire that is several seconds a lap faster than your competitors. Even if it's only four or five laps he's running on the hypersofts, and they're doing, say they could be 6 seconds a lap faster than someone on used super softs. That's a big difference to make up. No, that's a free pit stop in 3 laps.
Yeah.
But I think now, to case everyone's now settling down and just keeping it clean and keep it clean and consistent. Dasfell, who looks like he's on constant quality runs when you ride on board with him. That's the level of commitment he's having. Though he's not afraid. No, I mean he's not cruising. He is pushing, but it doesn't look shabby or sort of all over the place. It looks controlled, but very fast.
Exactly. It's almost, I mean, I think round here, I think it's very easy for you to settle down into the race and kind of go very complacent. But I've noticed with Monaco, whenever I've driven that, and I've done races around here in the past for leagues, that whenever you've become complacent, you make more mistakes, and you kind of, and when you relax around here, you make more mistakes. I mean, I'm not being cringy or anything, but Senna's quote where he said, like, I relaxed, and when I relaxed, I crashed. It's kind of true around here. If you relax a little bit and you don't like focus enough and keep focusing and keep delivering those lap times, you're going into that wall. So I think that's what's trying to keep that same pace going.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know there's times sometimes to back off, but like you said, if you get it, I think with all straight circuits, because if you're in the rhythm and you feel comfortable with the car and the track, and you feel comfortable pushing, that's where you want to be. But if you then back off and then can't quite get back into it, you're going to struggle. And as you always say in Monaco, you miss a braking point, you get a turning point wrong, you're going to clip a barrier, you lose a front wing, you possibly have to retire. No, it's all it could all very easily just go wrong.
Yes, Dustman actually has closed up a little bit on Dasfell.
Yeah, 3.5. Gap was 4, now it's 3.5 now.
I don't know if Dustman made a little bit of an error there in the last sector, but it looks pretty controlled right now.Got lots of ERS saves.
Interesting. Dragon has lost. Dragon has lost even more of his end plate now. Just looking at it, the whole side of it's missing. That's going to be affecting him quite heavily. Pelzeri's certainly closed up. Yeah, Pelzeri's closing up on every corner. He's closing up back up the 10th. So I think you see Pelzeri passing him by the end of this lap, possibly.
And he's on those more degradable ultra softs, and they're sort of similar age as well. So that's definitely, that end plate damage is definitely affecting Dragon Pro in terms of his pace. And I do expect Pelzo to make a move any moment now. Probably in the next lap or so.
I would say,
oh my god!
Yes, he's definitely losing it. If I was Dragon, what I'd be doing, I'd be putting the end of this lap and putting another set of ultra softs on and run to the end, and obviously fixing the front wing damage.
Gets the outside. Let's see what Pelzo can do. Round the outside, on the inside. Oh, okay,
Pelzo!
Oh, contact.
Well, you'll have to pit now because his whole front wing's missing.
Do you know, were you on board with Pelzeri or Dragon Pro at that point?
I was on board with Dragon Pro just as it happened. I think Pelzeri was sort of trying to recover. sort of Dragon sort of poked his nose into the gap and then just got squeezed. It was always going to happen, but
They're both safe as well.
Pelzeri pick up a puncher possibly, or is he has?
He looked alright.
Unless his team maybe he switched with his new tires, so Pelzeri's into a 2-stop. Dragon, I think.
No, so Ultra Softs. So he's looking pretty good. If he can beat, no, he won't be able to beat Mizzy out the pit. Mizzy now into P5. So Pelzeri's looking pretty good at this point against Mizzy.
Yeah.
Mizzy into P5, currently has Pelzeri now into P6, but he's on the fresher Ultra Softs, and he'll have a lot of bite initially and a lot of pace initially. Oh, and look, he's catching him very quickly already. Let's keep with this.
Yeah, I think the question is, will Mizzy stop again? Because if he's running to the end of the race, I think he has to keep Pelzeri behind him, because Pelzeri's not going to stop again. As he's shown he can do 15 laps in the Ultra Softs. That, okay, interestingly, the fact that Mizzy's pulled across, I think Mizzy has another pit stop to make, because he's also weaving about a bit as if he's trying to get temperature in his tyres.
Is he struggling right now? Let's have a look at board with Mizzy right now.
He's only done 9 laps on the substitute. No, they should still be in good nick. Maybe I think it was the falling in the temperature window, because he's not attacking the track at all.
No, he's not, and he's lost a lot of time as well. It's almost as if he's going, you know what?
I think he's possibly overheating his tires. It's a shame you can't see the telemetry of tire data in terms of temperature, because he seems to be being really easy into the corners. I mean, he doesn't really want to go near the throttle at all. Especially looking at his ERS.
Overheating is a problem in this game, isn't it? The overheating as well is a problem in this game, isn't it? Because I remember playing the beta on this game and doing Singapore, and this the overheating you get on the Hypersoft was overboard. Like you were losing that rear end everywhere after one lap in the race. I like the
realism, because I think the previous games tires never really came into it that much. Obviously, what compound you went on changed, but in terms of temperatures, it didn't seem to affect it. Whereas with this, you are on a bit of a knife edge, and then, especially in the Hypersoft, like you say, if you overheat one of them, you may as well pit, because they become like ice. You know, especially Silverstone was one I find especially, is where the tire, especially with all the high-speed corners, the tires get absolutely tortured. I think looking at the speed of Mizzy through the chicane, his tires are shot. I think he's dropped them out of the temperature window.
Exactly.
As Pelzeri just sets the fastest lap.
And soon Dragon Pro will be right there as well. So it's almost as if those Hypersofts were absolutely horrible in terms of overheating. The Supersofts seem to be roughly the same. I think almost all compounds, apart from that Ultra Soft itself, is actually okay, because all the Ultra Soft runners seem to be okay with overheating, but the Super Soft seems to be overheating a little bit as well. As the Force India's gone for it and it's hit Mizzy, and that was clumsy from Dragon Pro there.
Yeah. I think he wants past quickly. Mizzy should be a sitting duck here.
Oh, he's hit him again!
Oh no, that's the same thing Josu done for a few laps ago, but he's passed him easily. I think Mizzy's just decided, you know what, if you want the position so much, you can have it. Like he's thinking more long game, doesn't want to get taken out. He's just looking at his battery, like he could have easily defended that, and if you look at how slow he is through this section, there's something not right with his car. I think he's just trying to make, you know, he's down in P7. I don't know whether he's going to pit again or not. I think he should, because his tyres are gone, but there's Chris.
He's looking down the order.
Well, Chris is now in the pits, and he's just switched to the Ultra Soft. I think. Oh, there's a big accident there, Jamie and Rossi, and then. Oh, did Dazfeld get involved in that? Did Dazfeld just take wing damage there?
I haven't seen it. I didn't see what happened. I saw the end of it.
There was a bit of an argument between two back markers there, and I just noticed Dazfeld just got caught up in it, but he seemed to clip one of the cars on my screen, but I can't see if he actually damaged his front wing. From my broadcast angle, his front wing looks okay. So, and now Chris Jones is getting lapped. He pitted and changed. Yeah. He's pitted on the new Ultra Softs though, so interestingly, he might come back at Dasville here.
That kind of shows how good Dasville's been in this race, though, doesn't it? He's
Oh,
been
he has
absolutely
been.
sublime.
If you look at everyone else who have been struggling with tires and all, he's been out in front, and there's been not a hint of anything. That interestingly, he's kept a good gap. The Dutchman there, the only real time he was really under any pressure, I think, was after the pit stops. But if you look at how he's built that lead up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not been like a massive build-up. He's kind of slowly done it. As now his yellow flags again into the C3. Let's see what those are. As the hats of Jamie.
Yeah, trying to get out of the way, I think, and in the process has lost his entire front wing. I think he was one of the ones possibly involved in that accident.
And he's in. So drama, a little bit of drama that could have affected Dasville's race entirely. Is it? It's now
I'm sure his heart rate went up a little bit at that point there when he came around that corner and see two cars across the middle of the track. But it's things like that, especially at Monaco. You know, he's driven a fantastic race, and it'd be such a shame if he got robbed because of something like that.
And Dragon Pro's had a spin. He's lost the rear end before the tunnel section, so he's lost a bit of time to the mid-C again. But mid-C realistically isn't going to challenge him.
Tires then started to go again, maybe? Yeah.
It looks a bit oversteered to me.
Especially with the Ultra Softs, when you spin it, now if you have a spin and scrape the tires, you know, it tends to be you superheat. Yep. Oh,
he's hit the wall.
Barrier. I think he's lost the tires. I think he'll have to come in, I think. No. Unless he's going to try and run the lead.
If Mizzy pits, he'll be behind Chris, but at least he's got fresh tyres and he won't destroy himself.
Mizzy is pitting, so could Mizzy in theory run Hypersofts here to the end of 11 laps is a big ask. But as Ultra Softs, and Dragon spun completely.
Front wing change as well.
Yep, he's lost his front wing, so Chris Jones is going to pass, and Chris is going to pass him pretty easily. I'd imagine, yeah. It's a shame for the Force Indies because they've been having such a good race.
They were, exactly. They were running.
Dragon needs to get out of the way here because Dasville's losing a lot of time behind him. The gap's already back down to 3.2.
Oh, he's hit Dasville, is he?
No, this one around Monaco, even the traffic, you know, with the hairpin, where do you get out of the way? You know, it's difficult, but I would say Dasville's heart rate is going through the roof right now.
Yeah, he's lost so much time now. 2.3 seconds. He's had on 2.3 seconds to gap.
His gap's
so he was.
Half.
Yeah, and Dasville's actually let Chris out of the way. He's let him go there. He's not even willing to risk it anymore.
Dragon, I think I'll have to pit because he damaged his front wing.
Hang on a minute. Look behind.
He's lost it. And Dragon's lost it and smashed his front. I'll tell you what, you run out of front wings at this rate.
Look to the gap. Dutchman and Dasville is 4/10 the gap. It's close. Dasville's race is absolutely unfolded. And look at this. Up the inside, the Force India goes into turn one. And he's absolutely nudged Dasville off. And it's now Dutchman into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, and Dasville be feeling absolutely sick there because through no fault, a brilliant move by Dutchman, but it's the traffic, you know, you catch it at the wrong part of the track, it really compromises your race. And Dragon Pro's now retired. It's a shame he was on a very good race, but then, I said at Monaco, when all it takes is one little mistake and it just ruins your race.
It does, exactly, and it's ruined his race completely.
Dutchman has been on those tires for 23 laps and Dasville's been on his for 14. He should theoretically have a good advantage here, and Dutchman's tires towards the end of the race will be on their very last legs. So, could be a Senna Mansell thing where you just, you know, catch up to someone but you can't pass them.
The thing is, Dutchman also here, looking at his ERS, he's used quite a lot of the ERS. He's been trying to catch Dasville up. Dasville
he also has fuel to save, I think, as well, looking at that icon.
Yes, you can see it's yellow, isn't it?
It's yellow. I think that means then he has fuel to save. So I think that Dasville has a full battery there to use, and much younger tires. In theory, he should be able to pass him quite easily, but we all know that's not how it works.
No, not exactly. No, and looking at Dasfell, he isn't even using that ERS. I think he knows. Like you said,
I
the
think so,
tires on
and
Dutchman is worn.
interestingly, they're going to catch traffic here quite soon. Rossi is just leaving the tunnel now, and in a couple of laps' time, they might catch him.
Exactly. We've got Pelzeri battling away with Jossu here, so Pelzeri's got another chance.
And they're catching traffic as well.
Yeah, it gets out of the way nicely though. That traffic got out of the way perfectly.
Yeah.
Jamie actually was the one who got out of the way, so Jamie did a superb job. I said it's not easy around Monaco, but he showed them how it's actually done. But now Pelzeri is looking for a good
he got a
run.
bit close to the barrier,
does he?
He got up on the curb.
He
He got up on the curb coming out of the exit. I think he just had to hold off getting on the throttle. Bit heavy on the brakes there. They're going to catch traffic again here. Oh, and Josie has a bit of a slide going into that section.
He's on the same tyres, but a little bit younger.
Yeah,
though.
Josie looks like he's really struggling on those tyres.
Traffic again into the Mercedes of LE Revolutions, and he needs to get out of the way as well. But that will give DRS to Jossu, which means that Pelzeri can't actually get past.
Yeah, and Revolution's got to get in the way.
He's in the way.
I don't think there was much Revolutions could do about that, but I'm sure Pelzeri won't see it that way.
It's so tough, and you can see on the inside.
Catching traffic at this point. You know,
that was very good.
Just you can't really touch them there.
I think he's okay. The front wing looks okay.
He's went very wide in the hairpin.
Yeah.
Pelzeri's dropped off a bit now.
Exactly. Maybe he's got a little bit of impact damage from that. Jamie, on the other hand, is right behind Revolutions. Another one for us to watch. And Dasfell as well is catching Dutchman once again. So actually, we're going to go back to the lead battle. This is one we're going to watch.
Revolution's not made the corner. I say there's a lot of another time penalty. There's a lot of time penalties that have been handed out, and I think some people have picked up possibly 10, 15 seconds worth of time penalties. You know, so it could be that towards the end of the race.
And if they're not careful enough, they might be nearing disqualification. Because I think there's a limit, isn't there? Before they. As Williams is not getting out of the way nicely for Midsley, but finally does so. So again, Dustfell's also a little bit more lap time to Dutchman. Now 1.2 seconds the gap.
Here's an interesting one. I just read through the race director. Dutchman has at least one 3-second time penalty. So is Dasfell playing a very smart and just thinking, if I just stay behind him, but within 3 seconds, I'll get the win?
I think so. There we go. That's a little twist. Has Dasfell not got any penalties?
I don't see any. Certainly the standard is driving. I was surprised to see any, but just reading through it, Dutchman I see has one. No, Dasfell has one as well. Sorry. So all evens there, unless there's been another one handed up.
2 seconds the gap. So I don't know what's going on with Dasfell.
No, they both have one 3-second time penalty apiece, so it's all even there. The only thing I can think of is Dasfell is thinking that Dutchman's tyres must be on their last legs. And interestingly, Dutchman is having to use all of his ERS, and he's going to need to start saving fuel. Dasfell isn't, which makes me think that Dasfell is biding his time a little bit.
Yeah,
he started to use a bit more of his ERS, but
the last 3 laps can absolutely hammer it in, isn't it? And he's going to start applying the pressure. That's what we want to see. We want to see this battle go to the end, as Pelzeri once again is all over the rear of Jossu. Jossu is really struggling at this point. The yellow flag is tipped to 1.
What's that? I don't see any, unless it was just caused by someone getting out of the way. And Dasfell's picked up another 3-second time penalty.
That's surely race over, isn't it? That's surely the win.
I would say so. The only thing I can think is Dutchman, as long as he keeps it clean, you know, in theory he has a 5-second lead now. No, he shouldn't need to take risks. And I'm surprised that, because Dasfell looked in control of this race for so long, you know, and then just the getting caught in traffic, and then all credit to Dutchman. He's done fantastic to close the gap.
We'll see in the press conference afterwards what's actually happened to Dasfell, hopefully. But look at this battle, Pelzeri and Jossu absolutely going ham the nail into that last sector once we go, and Jossu looks to be he's struggling a lot on those tyres. and Pelzeri's be in better shape. So Pelzer, oh, he gets so close to the last corner.
Pelzer get caught out by how early Jossie braked there.
Yeah, he did. He needs to almost predict that next time around and get them focus on the exit. He's got a good exit from turn 1 though. He goes to the inside and it's a massive crash.
Oh, that's going to be a big talking point afterwards. Jossie's going to have to pit for a new front wing. I think, down. Look at the time.
Slowed down.
Yeah. Pelzer, is he going to let him through, or has Pelzeri picked up damage as well?
I think Pelzeri slowed down to potentially let Jossie through there, but Jossie's weaved instead.
No,
probably
Pelzeri's lost his part of his front wing on the left-hand side.
And so I think there's damage to
damage
to the Red Bull as well.
Yeah. They'll both have to pit. Looking at the time, there's a 42-second gap between them and Prix, so they should both be able to theoretically pit. Technically put hypersoft tires on and you know, run to the end and just sort of go no holds barred, which would be fantastic to watch. But
as Jossie's hit the wall again. Jossie's now lost all his front wing.
Lost all his front wing.
He's got
Pelzeri
behind him.
With 3 laps left, Pelzeri I think's going to chance it and gamble on, because the host Josie has to pit. He's going to hope that he has enough in the tank just to get round these last few laps.
I'm just having a look at the leaders now, and again 3.7 seconds between
interesting.
Dasville and Dutchman.
Josie's put ultra softs on. He mustn't have any hyper softs left. But I think Dasville's backed off, and I think Dutchman just needs to bring it home now. I think he's done a fantastic job, I have to say, especially around such a punishing circuit.
He has indeed, yeah. It's good. We thought that's what had this absolutely wrapped up, didn't we? And we said he's favourite for the win, but Dutchman's kept his head.
Commentator's curse there.
It is. I need to stop talking about him. We need to stop. Yeah. I need to stop saying about, oh, he's the favourite to win, because whenever that happens, like the guy doesn't win. No one.
At the end of the day, P2, 18 points is a good result, but I'm sure that's not how he'll feel right now. No, he'll feel, and I would argue correctly, this is that he's lost a win rather than he's gained the second place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Especially
another thing you can look. Go on.
Especially that first step where he pulled out near for a 20-second gap. You know, that was some majestic driving, and I thought even on the super softs he looked under control. But no, just so in Monaco, you know, sometimes it's complete luck of the draw. He just caught the traffic at the wrong point.
I think maybe he has some sort of end plate damage, to be honest, because he had been hit twice. So I think he picked up some sort of slight damage. Slight damage that we can't see, because obviously you can get that end plate damage that you can't see on the stream, where it's slightly light, but it does cause problems.
Yeah, I think as well, especially with minor damage, the problem isn't the aerodynamics, but it's the imbalance it causes, especially in the tires. You know, your brakes, you lock up a lot easier. That's where it really starts to affect you. But I have to say, it's been a hugely entertaining race here, actually. I think Dasville's definitely backed off now and content to settle, and I think Pelzeri's got the podium place, though Jossie may not be too happy with that, considering what transpired. Though Pelzeri's just hit the wall again. Has he taken more damage to his front wing?
Yeah. A lot of the end plate on the left hand side is damaged, but again, he's got that safety 23 seconds gap.
23-second gap, unless he spins it, I can't see.
But he has got quite a lot of penalties, though. This is the thing. I don't know how many penalties he's got, but I don't think he has 23 seconds worth of penalties.
No.
But Jossie will have. I don't know how Jossie's doing. He's not closing up a lot, but if Jossie can close up enough, and depending on how many penalty players he's got, Jossie still might have the podium here. But it does look like that it's all pretty much settling in, and the race is pretty much closing up. So TR Dutchman, here around the final corner to start his final lap of the race. 31 laps, and he's going on to his 32nd lap on these tyres. He's absolutely mastered this race like a champion, and it's looking pretty good for the Force India driver to hit the win here.
Yeah, he certainly played the long game, especially at the start when Dasville raced off into the distance. And he just sat there, done his own race, bided his time well, managed his fuel. Actually, I think he underfueled his car because the fuel indicator was on for most of the race. So think he decided to go quite light on it. But the strategy certainly paid off, and around probably the most difficult track we do. I don't think not making the super softs do 32 laps. I think he's the only person that ran hyper soft and then super soft. I think that's a fantastic achievement in itself, because those tires must be well out of their lifetime in terms of when they're at their optimum.
Exactly, man. And here he comes. He's coming through the final sector for the final time here, and he's absolutely dominated this race. He's controlled it pretty much, and he's got it at the last gasp and took away from Dasfell. Here he comes to the line to become the 6th different winner of this season. Fantastic result by TR Dutchman. And here comes Dasfell across the line for P2, and he'll be 1.5 seconds in the end. So penalties.
Yeah, he had a 5-second unserved stop and go, which I'm assuming was pitting the speed limit or something. I've been fouled off a few times, but it's something that's very easy to do in this game.
Another one now. Pelzeri, hopefully, will be
16 seconds. 16 seconds, and this depends on penalties. I was having a quick look at them, but it's kind of difficult to see them. So let's see if I could. Pelzeri.
Let's see.
It says he has
across the line in P3.
It says he has a couple of penalties, but it doesn't say what they are.
Oh, Justin put them another one. That might neutralise it.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Let's see if Jossu's got this one. Everyone else has crossed the line. I
don't think so.
Jossu.
No, he backed off before it.
Yeah. There you go. I think the last guy we're waiting for is flying.
I think that's everyone across the line, because everyone else has been lapped. I think.
Flying Rosie still going. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're done. We've done now. That is the race over and done with. And that was a cracking Monaco Grand Prix, I think.
I think it was. Certainly, I'll be honest, I thought the halfway point, it was done and dusted, and Madsfeld had it in the bag, but, it's in the Force India on the top step at the end of the day. He played the long game, he got the strategy right, made the tires last, made his fuel last. He done what was required of him. Well deserved first place for him.
Exactly. They're all three of those guys there on the podium did a superb job. It's a tough track to race on, and we've both experienced it, and it's not fun racing around here.
When it goes well, it's brilliant, but when it goes badly, it's the worst track in the world.
Indeed, man, indeed. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you do the podium interviews, because I want to give you something else to do for us.
That's not a problem. So let's see if we can Dutchman in.
There we go, there's our final results. TR Dutchman, who's won the race, our 6th different winner this season. And I can't believe we've had 6 different winners. That shows how competitive this season's been. Dasfell in 2nd, and Pelzeri in 3rd, Jossu in 4th, Chris in 5th, Mizzy in 6th, and Eddie Revolutions in 7th. Flying Rosie in 8th. Jamie retired ahead of Dragon Pro and Joker. So that's your final race classification. And I'm just going to pass it on now to our racings and let him do the podium interviews with our boys.
So first, we've got Dutchman in here. Who else do we need?
We'll get the other two in, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's get in.
Sure.
I took a picture, so Dasfell. Let's see if we can get him in.
Yeah. Well, firstly, Dutchman, anyway, congratulations. That was an incredible race. That was a hell of a strategy run. I honestly didn't think anyone could do a one-stop on the Hypersofts. How did you manage it?
Well, I just calculated it drive very smoothly. I had the strategy to always upshift very early out of the corner, so save my rear tires.
Mm-hmm.
I got damage on lap 15, and I drove to the end with it.
Yeah, it certainly paid off. Yeah, I thought you ran a fantastic strategy. I imagine you feel a bit disappointed at that. It seemed that halfway you had it all under control, and then you just sort of got caught out. You get caught in the traffic, and then that gave Dutchman the chance to pounce.
Yeah, I was running low fuel and no ARS to keep a 4-second gap, and then someone crashed on the final corner, and I lost my right wing. was downhill from there.
Yes, we've seen that. I'd seen that. And I thought that's what happened. And then in the hairpin,
Yeah,
I think someone tagged you from behind when you were
yeah,
lapping them, and I
that's
think
it.
then after
Yeah,
that, those
yeah, it was
fine
downhill
margins, I
from
know how
there.
frustrating. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
such a
still
shame, but I
good result,
suppose. Yeah, 18 points. I know it sounds weird, but I'm sure you're feeling disappointed now. But I think you go away from this.
Yeah.
Think you'd have taken a podium at the start of the race, I imagine.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, good
So
result from
we
the
just need
Dutchman though.
is
Good strategy.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
It's good. It's good for McLaren as well, isn't it? Because yourself and Mizzy
Mizzy.
actually got both double points, didn't you? So in terms
Yeah.
of the fight with Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, it puts you closer to them, doesn't it? Because only
Yeah,
Chris
it does,
finished the
yeah.
race for
Yeah, we should be a lot
Ferrari.
closer now. I'm not sure if we'll be in front of them now or not, but I don't think we will because they got first and second. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get in there. Some of the good tracks now, isn't there? I hate the start of the season. It's the worst part for me.
Yeah.
We've got a
Canada
good stretch
up
of
next, I think,
circuits
isn't it?
Canada
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
yeah, which is a good track.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks to
I
practice as well.
was
Which is
looking
even
forward to
better.
it too.
What you got to be
Certainly
looking at is absolutely jippering that last chicane, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Just sort of.
Going
Did you
full
cut it?
jippo.
No.
I remember on F1
I mean, I
2015 you
think-
can absolutely hammer that.
Yeah.
Just if no one's looking, just disable the Twitch stream for 10 seconds. And they just crash. Next thing someone goes 5 seconds faster. So we get who was third place? Sorry. Thinking,
Sorry, what was that?
missing someone. We're missing someone, aren't we? Third place, or are they
Well, we're
not
missing
joining us?
Pelzeri, but he ain't
Pelzeri,
joined.
yeah.
He ain't joined.
Yeah.
I tried to invite him like 4 or 5 times.
Him and Josie may be having quiet words with each other,
Oh dear.
or not so
Mm.
quiet in Josie's case. It was an interesting risk because what we could see towards the end, especially we worked out a lot of people are carrying time penalties. 'Cause I think at one point we worked out that I think that's why you finished only a second and a half behind in the end. Were you trying to
Yeah.
calculate that during the race? No, in terms of penalties, whether you could maybe.
I
I speculated
knew
at
he'd
one point,
have
could you
some.
just sit behind him?
Yeah, I knew
Well-
we'd have some, but I just couldn't stop behind him. I couldn't keep close enough to warrant it. And then I lost my left wing as well on the first corners, and then it was miles behind after
Yeah.
that.
I got my right wing damaged to Garcia Masia or so in the hairpin on lap 15 and with yellow and drove to the end with it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Because a lot of people, there was an interesting different approaches. I predicted at the start of the race, rather silly, that everyone would just stick to the same strategy. I tell you what, I'm quite glad I was wrong on that one because it produced a fantastic race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly never thought about hypers to supers, which maybe should have done. Being on a wheel,
No,
you
I
get the
gen-
advantage,
oh,
you don't you?
I think Dutchman was the only person that done it. I honestly didn't think it was
Yeah.
possible because the Hypersoft seemed to only last 5 laps.
Yeah, I
especially
did
any-
in 5
any-
laps.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone who was
pub
going
they
do,
past
don't
that just spun.
Yeah, I had a strategy to keep it very much under control. Did like 5 times
Yeah.
the first stint only. So
Yeah, it was fantastic. No, great racing. Because I remember looking at it towards the end, it's like, and you were on 30-lap old tyres, and obviously Das Phil was on tyres 10 laps younger, and I was thinking, surely he's going to catch him. Surely he's going to, obviously we couldn't see we didn't have access to everything. We didn't know what was going on with. I said we couldn't see the front wing damage at the time. We could work out the
Yeah.
times were falling slightly. We couldn't work out, but I think he's produced a very entertaining race, and congratulations to both of you. Don't have any actual champagne to give you, but I think you should go and enjoy it anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you very much.
it was
Yeah.
a good race.
Good race, Dutchman, yeah. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, you guys drove fantastically as well. Great battle. Qualifying was exciting as well, wasn't it? I thought your qualifying performance was incredible on those ultra softs compared to everybody else's hyper softs. You did pretty good jobs there, so I
Yeah,
think that put
yeah.
you in a good place in the race. But obviously, traffic and everything got in your way, and it didn't quite pay into your hands. I mean,
No,
we
that's
both,
it.
me and myself and RH Racing said, "Mate, hands down, that's what's got this." And then we saw the traffic build up, and we saw that there
Yeah.
was contact, and we were like, "I tell you what." We couldn't see there was any end plate damage because I'm guessing you had the lighter end plate damage where it wasn't showing up on the broadcast camera because we could see we're looking at your end plate and there wasn't damage at all on it. So I'm assuming there was
Right.
light end plate damage on it.
Yeah, I had yellow right, and then a lap later I hit
Yellow
the
right.
first corner, and I had yellow
Yeah.
left after that.
Yeah,
I
see,
find
obviously we're not
the
picking it up
biggest
on the
damage.
broadcast.
Yeah, the biggest problem I always find with the small wing damage is it upsets the balance of the car, and you find yourself having to adjust it, and then that's where it
Yeah,
starts to
that's
hurt
it.
you with tire wear. So I always find
Yeah.
it's not just the pure level. Because I honestly find that sometimes if it's just minor, it doesn't actually affect the turning ability of the car, but it tends to be it's easier to lock up, and the tires tend to heat up a lot faster.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
it. That's
find
what I was
tire
struggling
temperatures
with.
an issue?
Yeah, that's what I was struggling with the last 5 laps. Tyre temperatures were absolutely red hot. I couldn't keep
Yeah.
them down.
We could see that with a lot of people, especially through the sort of into the final sector. A lot of people going sideways through the swimming pool, and there's a few people that sort of look like the World Drifting Championship at times. But I think most people managed. A few people had a few minor things, but I think most people managed to keep them out of the barriers. I think the only big accident I think was the one that Dasville got sort of caught up in. The two lapped cars decided to do a
That's
car
the
in
Williams.
Shandok, and
The
yeah.
hat, isn't
There's a
it?
bit of a repeat of that. Do you remember the accident in Monaco a few years ago? It was a car in Chandok.
2010.
Decided he wanted
Yeah.
to overtake someone or fly over them.
That's
It
right. And he
sort of
had to
reminded
take
me
his
of
head.
that.
He was like, "Oh my head! Oh my
Yeah,
head!"
I remember on the stream when we were watching it, when I cut through, I just cut the way that the broadcast camera worked. I cut the Dasville coming around the final corner with the two other cars just sitting at 90-degree angles in front of him. I'm
There's not a
sure
lot
your
I could
thoughts
do
at
'cause
that
We should have
point
memed
were,
it,
oh
shouldn't
no.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
well,
should
if
have
they
memed
jammed
it.
on, I was just going to hit
Things
the
never
barrier.
change. Things never change.
Pastor, you're back?
Hello, mate. Anyway, boys, congrats on the result. Both of you did very fantastically today, and pretty faultless drives, I have to say. So, great job, man. Good job,
Yep.
both of you.
Thank you.
Spot on, thank you. Cheers.
Congratulations to both of you.
Spot on.
And I think we'll round it up there. So, that was a cracking race, wasn't it? March Racings for Monaco.
It was. I kind of wish I was involved in it, but I'll be back next week. But it certainly is a fantastic race. A mix of strategy, drama. No, I had a lot really. At one point, I think after the pit stops, it settled down a bit, but then everyone sort of came back into each other, and then so there was the battle for the lead, and it was so many variables. And so I was thinking for a dry race, it was pretty good, and I have to admit, I thought we would have needed rain to spice it up, but I think rain would have just been a bit too much.
Exactly, yeah. I think we had enough drama towards that sort of last 25% of that race. It really did spice up, and it was a thoroughly good watch. And normally Monaco, sometimes you either get a really boring race, and sometimes sometimes if you're lucky, you'll get a really exciting one. And we've got the exciting one today, which is fantastic. It also means we have 6 different winners out of the first 6 races of the season, which again shows how competitive this tier of ILR is. So once again, I hope we can continue that going into Monaco and going to Canada and actually get a 7th different winner. So that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but similar. Was it the 2012 F1 season? We had 7 different winners in the first 7 races.
That's right.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it was Pastor won that year.
Yeah, Pastor won that way. Yeah,
What a
pretty
year
much.
that
If Pastor won, anybody would win. Poor Pastor. Poor Pastor. It was a good driver, really. Just accidental. That's just accidental. That's what it was. I say good driver, really. Just trying to be nice, really. That's it. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there, okay? Congrats both of you once again, and we'll see you next week for Canada.